Hey guys, so I am here to sort of show you today what we did at our church for our packing party. I've been taking notes, trying to gather information to try to make a good video, and I'm hoping I didn't forget anything, but I really wanted to just sort of share what the wonderful group of people that I have been working with at my church sort of put together for our packing party. Because I remember not just when we were putting together this packing party, but when I was trying to figure out how to do my original packing party, I kept looking online for information on how other people did it and how they ran it and sort of the ins and outs of like tips, tricks, and I did find some good things, but I just felt like I was searching and wanting more than was out there. So hopefully this video will help any of y'all who are either struggling to figure out a way to do a packing party or want to come up with new ideas, maybe improve certain things. I know that even this year this packing party went amazing, but there's still things I would improve on, and I'm going to share that with you as well. Now, by no means is this the end-all be-all best way to do a packing party. It worked really well for us in our situation. Everybody else's situations are different. Either how many people you have coming, or the building that you have to use, or the house that you're using, or the logistics of whatever you're doing. But maybe you can get bits and pieces from what we did, and it'll help you. So I'm gonna throughout this video show you a video of me on the day of showing my packing party, sort of walking through what the team put together, how everybody set it up, and yeah, I'm going to show you this video, and then afterwards I'm going to talk a little bit about things I didn't mention in the video, but also things that I would like to improve on for next year. So you guys enjoy.
Hey everybody, it's Annabeth with Sending Shoe Boxes, and it's packing party day. So I want to run through and show you what we have done and how we've set up this year, things that have changed from last year to make things a little bit better. I'm sure we're going to learn a lot this year and change things for next year, but this is what we have so far. So up front, we have all the boxes. What we did this year is actually pre-labeled all of our boxes, the age and the gender, and we have different sections. So we have an even number, 35 of each age and gender. So people can come up, pick what they want to shop for, and walk through. So we have a girl's side, and over here we have a boy's side. Now, this is all the essential items. There's actually going to be 2 signs that are up at the front of these 2 tables that I have to put up after this video. And it's just going to say essential items, pick one of everything. So I'll sort of walk you through what we have on each table because it's the same. But spiral notebook, pencil supply bag. Now you guys have seen, I already posted this on the channel. Everything is in here. The crayons, the colored pencils, scissors. So it's all already together. So we make sure every box gets all the school supplies needed. A coloring book, a hygiene bag. So you've seen me show you the different types of hygiene bags I'm doing. We have more that are under the table. So as these go, we have all the ones in the plastic Ziplocs that I showed you guys that I'm excited about. We've got lots of those. So hygiene bags, a backpack, a drawstring backpack, washcloths, soap, and then you come over here and you just look at the size and you grab underwear and socks to put in your box. Now on the girls' side, there's an extra thing, which is reusable pads for the 10 to 14 girls. So all this is the WOW tables. We've done it by gender and age, so you already know what box you picked. You can just head to the proper table and pick a WOW gift off of those tables. We'll sort of walk the middle of the 2 tables. And we've just laid out a bunch of options so people can look and see what they feel needs to go in their box. We have more options under the table that as we get low, we can keep adding more if needed, but there's more than enough already up here for the box number we have. So after this, one of our awesome team members is bringing a banner that's going to go up on the top of the wall. I hope you guys can hear me. On the top of the wall, and it's going to say all the round tables have filler items. So everything on a round table is anything extra that's not a necessity. So we've already gone through the necessities. We make sure every box has that. From this point on, they can go look, browse through all the tables, see what they want to add in their shoebox for a more personal touch. So we'll head this way. We have dresses that have been made, which are amazing. My aunt made these. I love them. She's awesome. We have other dresses, shirts, outfits, shoes, if people want to add shoes. Oh, here. Hold on. We got to let a team member. Oh, that turned out really cute. So they can, like I said, browse every table, add what they want. So we'll head over here. Here's a lot of extra toys, even extra school supplies we have. You can sort of take a look at, oh, there's my tape, putting up signs. Lots of extra fun things that have been donated that we've collected over the years. Over here we have things like all the marble bags we put together, some extra Play-Doh kits. We have a lot of sort of extra school supply stuff that if you want to add more, like if you really feel like you want to make your shoebox more of like an art shoebox, we have markers, different kinds of markers, watercolors. There's lots of extra pencils, stickers that people can add, sort of make each box their own, what they feel led to put in each box. Lots of paper and extra notepads and journals, because you guys know how much I love sending extra paper. The hair accessory bags that we've been making. You guys have seen this on the channel, as well as lots of bead kits. We have so many. We've got some under the table that I can pull up. Sewing kits that we've put together. These also have fabric, a yard of fabric attached to them. And as they walk this way, and there's just more tables to look through, puzzles, balls, books, lots to see. But something, excuse me, something that I think is pretty cool. We have these tables set up. So after you've packed your box, after you have gone sort of through the area, you can sit down. You know, you can take everything out of your box, sort of look at it, try to refit it, take a moment to sit. We have refreshments over here, but also on this TV, we're gonna have the Samaritan's Purse testimonial videos running. So you can hear stories from children who've received boxes already. And I mean, I just think that's a powerful thing to be hearing as you're packing a box for a special child, just to see how it's already affected somebody. And sit, pray, write a note to put in the box. I'm just really excited. Everything's come together so well. I'm gonna try to take some shots of the packing party as it's going, so I can sort of, you know, let you guys see what fun we're having. But this is our setup this year. I'm really excited with how it turned out. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being a part of all this. And I will hopefully have some videos after this of the packing party. Y'all enjoy.
Okay, so now that you guys have seen how we set everything up, it just went really well. Much more organized than my prior year. And I really feel like we hit the nail on the head in a lot of ways, but there's some things that I definitely would change. A few things I didn't mention in the video that I wrote down here on my little note paper is, you know, for all the clothing that was laid out on the tables, that can get a little confusing for people. So what we did is we just took like the painter's tape, and we put that on each item of clothing with the size. Well, not really, we didn't even do the size. We made it even easier. We did the age group that it would go for. So that way you could hone in on the age group, because your mind is so focused on boy 2 to 4. So if you see that boy 2 to 4 on an item in clothing, sorry, I feel like I'm going to hiccup. But then, you know, you could just pick it up. So that was something that we did that just made things a lot easier. All the dresses that were hanging on hangers had also a label on them, so you knew what age group those dresses would go for. So that way it would make, even though that looks like a pile of clothing on the table, it was pretty organized, because at first we didn't have any labels, and we just kept or, looking at this table, and I just kept thinking, this is going to be really confusing. So last minute, we decided to do that, and it worked really well. Another thing, I say filler on those tables because it's an easy term, but I feel like a lot of those things on those round tables are not just filler, they're wonderful items. A lot of times we think of filler, or at least I do, as like the little things you just fill a spot with. But that was just an easy term to use. But I just wanted to say, I think a lot of those things, not that this matters, but I just thought a lot of those things were much better than I guess what I would think of as normal filler. But it was an easy term to use and made a lot of sense at the packing party for everybody who is packing, because we had people who've packed boxes for years, and we've had people who've never packed a box in their life. And it was great. And we had people, my son was there, we had other kids who were there packing. So I know he's 4, so there might have been kids younger, but at least the age of 4 up to, the age of 80 something or more. I don't know everybody's age, but it was just cool to see generations of people gathering to do this. We had a much better turnout than we expected. We were thinking, I think we thought we'd have at least 30 people. We were hoping. We never got a full official count because I think so much was going on that none of us actually counted. But I think there was like 50 people, maybe even a little bit more than 50. So we were really surprised. It was great. It just turned out great. So in this next clip, I am going to show you the packing party in full swing. You can see everybody packing their boxes, having fun, just what a great day it was, and how everything overall, like I said, went really smoothly. After this video clip, I will sort of get into more of the like nitty-gritty planning part of it. If you're interested in that, please stick around. More of like what I learned I will not do again, how I can improve certain things. Just like I said, more of the planning of the event information. So, here's the clip. Hey guys, so wasn't that awesome? It was such a fun time. Now, yes, I look different, and that's because when I first recorded this video, I got really busy, so I didn't get to finish the second part, but then the next day, everybody in the family slowly started not feeling well. So I am better. I probably sound a little weird. I do have this lingering cough that coughs always like to stick with me for a very long time, but I think that's normal. But everybody's better. So this is like a couple days later, like 5, maybe almost a week later. But yes, so now we can talk about what I would change this next time around. And there's probably more things that maybe I'll come up with later, but right now, overall, I really thought it went amazing. I just was so happy with just the turnout, the way things went, how organized we were. There's just a couple little things that I would change for next year. Number 1 would be more of just logistics on how, when people walk in, we really want to have a stopping point. We did not do that this year. I think we were so busy trying to make sure everything was set up, and we were hoping that when people arrived, they would sort of, we know most of these people, hey, we're here, what would you like us to do? And we could sort of just say, okay, we're just gonna have everybody gather and we're gonna pray. Well, we never prayed at the beginning, because what happened was people started walking in the door, and I would say a lot, if not most of the people that came had already packed boxes before. So they just started packing boxes. So it sort of just got a
I don't want to say out of hand, because nothing was really out of hand. It started before we were ready for it to be started. Before we knew it, the team was sort of scattered, still making sure the last little minute things were okay. We had people who came early, so that sort of threw everything off a little bit. Next year, we want to have a stopping point where we, can stop, pray, and we also want to give like a little, at least I think this would be really good, a little teaching, like a 5-minute quick, teaching of tips and tricks. Now, we had a lot of people packing boxes who were like, oh, there's no way in the whole world that we'll be able to fit all these things on this necessity table, the long one that you have to do first, and then also fit in extra stuff like clothing and stuff at the end. And we're like, yes, you can. Trust us. You can do it. We will help show you how all this can fit. And so I think, like I said, I think people are used to not taking things out of the packaging. That's what we heard a lot. People just don't take things out of the packaging. All of our stuff had been, for the most part, unless it needed the packaging, had been taken out of the packaging. And I just think that there's little tips and tricks. Like for me and my team, I sort of joke a little bit about, we all have our things that we like to do, or we think, is like, okay, this really, really works. Let's try to, make sure we implement this. Like my thing is sticking the notebooks and the notebooks and the coloring books up and then folding it over, when you're done, putting them up in the back, filling your box and then closing it. And when it closes, it folds over. I know that there's a lot of ways to do that, and people like to do their coloring books and their paper and their spiral notebooks differently. Some people like to roll them up and put tape around them and put them in the bottom. Some people like to lay them like this. Any of it's fine. You can do it however you like to do it. This is just my personal preference, and I'm using that as an example. Something that we can say, hey, here's a box that we have as an example that we can show when they come in the door, not only after we pray, also explain to them, like I said, hey, here are some tips and tricks that we use to fill all this stuff in the boxes. And that way they can walk away and they can use those, or maybe they say, that really doesn't work for me, but wow, that other thing y'all said really works for me. Just giving information. This is what this is all about, giving information on what we've learned and, letting them use it and hopefully helping them, not just with our packing party, but with their own boxes. And we had a lot of people who were like, oh my gosh, that notebook trick. Because I stood at the back table where people were packing boxes just to help. Because we did have a lot of people who, even though they've packed boxes, they're like, I never thought about doing it that way. And I do that all the time still. So I think sort of organizing it to where we have a moment to sort of pray, which is just so important. We had prayed individually over the meeting and those kind of things, but not as a big group with all the people who are participating. And I just feel like what a great way to, jumpstart the day. So praying and having a little moment, we can just give them some tips and tricks and just explain, what this ministry does, even though so many people know. But we had people who are like, wow, I did not realize it did so much. So that would be my number one. It's just having a moment where we stop at the beginning. And it doesn't just start out of nowhere. Okay, so when it comes to setup, I think overall we had an amazing setup. I would change potentially 2 things. So there's sort of 2 bullet points under this part. And that the first thing would be we had the essential items table, the wow tables, the filler, and then the tables that you can go sit at to repack your box. Well, 99% of the time, after people went through the essential items, the wow tables, they skipped the filler, went to those tables to sit, unpacked their box to sort of sort it and fix it so they had room for all the extras in filler. Now, when I say filler, in general, this is sort of a side point. I don't think all those things on those table necessarily were filler. It's a very easy term to use at the packing party, but I just keep thinking to myself, that stuff was way more than filler. When I think of filler, I think of little tiny things that you put, this is just me, that you use to fill spots. Now, they would have about half of the box empty by the time they went through the essential items in the wow gift. So there's plenty of room for really great items like shoes, clothing, more school supplies, puzzles. I mean, all these things that are just, to me, amazing. And some, can be just as important, as some of the other things. So I say filler, and I hope you guys know what I mean. It just was a simple term to explain the packing party. But yes, so that table that you, when you pass the filler tables and you went and sat down at and unpacked your box, I would actually put that first and then do the filler tables next year. I would sort of just swap those because it created a lot of extra traffic that was probably unnecessary, just for the flow of things, because then people were going back through to go to the filler, which, isn't the worst thing in the world. But I just think also it would just have been helpful. So I think, like I said, after you pass and you get your wow gift, you would then have tables you can stop at, rearrange things, get them to where they need to be so that you can go, shop through the rest of the stuff and get what you want for that child to fill the rest of the box. And then after that point, if you want to come back to the tables, which I know that's still going back, but if you want to come back to the tables and repack, you can. Most people at that point were just packing their stuff very carefully as they were going through the filler. I don't know. I just think that personally, after going through it, being there, I think that would just help. And so that's the first sort of point. And the second point may not work for everybody. You may not have the space. You may be doing this in a home. You may not have the amount of tables that you need to do this. I think that for us, we had those long tables with all the essential items. I think what we would do, just like we did for the wow gifts, is have an essential items table for every age and gender. Yeah, I know that, and I feel like that sounds like a lot. But I really think there was still some confusion, especially when we had the essential items like clothes, like the socks and the underwear, which we wanted every box to get, that were at the end of the table. And then they were going through this table picking one of everything, but then they get to this where they have to look at the size. And I know that that's a simple thing to do, but when you have so many people, things start to get confusing. People start grabbing one of every sock, or people's, it's hard to, so they just grab a sock and they get the wrong size sock. Now, a lot of times that's fine. If you get an older sock, that any kid can grow into them. In the long run, that's okay. But, we had purchased enough stuff to do, I can't remember the number. I think I said it earlier in the video, but like 210 boxes. We had enough stuff to fill 210 boxes. Well, when you have 210 socks and then people are accidentally grabbing 3 to 4 socks, well, now you've got 3 to 4, three other boxes that don't have socks, because now we can't search through every single box, typically to try to fix that. So it got a little confusing. So I think it would be nice to have a table for every age and gender for necessities too, that just sort of run into the wow tables. We'll just make it one long strip, because then, you have all the essential school items they grab one of, and then they can literally just grab one sock for the boy 2 to 4, one pair of underwear for the boy 2 to 4. With the older girls, then you have the pads at the end, and some of the other people who have like the 2 to 4 girls don't get confused and grab pads to put in their 2 to 4 box. Now, I'm sure that whoever got the 2 to 4 box, they probably know somebody, or I hope that they know somebody that can use those, but they're really meant for the 10 to 14-year-old girls. That's what we bought for. That's what we were able to afford this year. We wanted to make sure that those boxes got that. So, and I'm hoping that this makes sense as I'm explaining it, but I do. I think having one table, or multiple tables, it would take multiple tables, but having one set of tables for every single age and gender for the necessities. So we did 2 tables this year that held all the school supplies and hygiene. I think we would also just put the WOW table, butt that up against those 2. They have 3 tables they can cross, but we would have to do that 6 times. If any of this is confusing, please comment, because I would love to explain it to you better if I can. But yes, so I think that would work better for us, so we don't have as much confusion. I don't know if everybody would run into this problem. This was sort of circumstantial because of just some things that we did. So I think that we would just make sure people stop packing boxes when the stuff runs out, because what happened was towards the end, and this may not really be anything that really helps anybody, like you guys might not run into this issue, but people were so eager, which was amazing, to do as many boxes as they could, that in the building, against one of the walls, we had cartons of the 50 flat boxes leaning up against the wall. And they were not necessarily, well, they weren't for the packing party. Those were boxes that needed to be either taken to the church for either other people's events. Now, mind you, we had plenty of boxes for all that stuff. So this didn't affect anybody else's packing. But what happened was, when we ran out of the 210 boxes, which we had counted and prepared, because we knew we had enough to give every one of those kids all the things that we felt was important, people started to go over before we could stop it, and started putting together those boxes, and they were putting them together and then going through the line, and they're like, oh, so the kids didn't get school supplies. They would just move past it, and they would get hygiene, but they wouldn't get school supplies because we were out of school supplies or something, or vice versa. Honestly, I can't remember what we were out of. We were out of quite a bit of things, so these kids were not getting soap, which I know soap is one of those things that we don't know if it's getting sent or not, and it's been on the fence, but still, it's a great example. We were out of those things. Now, we never ran out of WOW gifts. We had enough WOW gifts for 400 plus boxes. That wasn't an issue, but I think there's so much more that the WOW gifts are very important, but I also think the essential items are very important. The school supplies and the hygiene and all that kind of stuff. So people, out of the goodness of their heart, were so excited. Everybody was so excited about what we were doing that all of a sudden we realized that people were making more boxes and filling them. And those boxes were, not getting any crayons or any pencils or scissors or anything. So we were like, oh my goodness. So there were so many people that it was hard to decipher at one point who was filling a box that was half full and who was filling one that, we had the items for. So we had to sort of, that last hour, stop everybody and say, okay, if you're packing a box at this point, can you please put it against that wall over there? Because we needed to separate them from the boxes finished on the wall, because all those boxes were going to have to get re-gone through to make sure they had everything. We were just going to go buy crayons, and the team was just going to do that. So we just wanted to make sure they had, we didn't want to change the integrity of what they were, but because this was our packing party, we're not working at the processing center, all this stuff, most of the stuff was from me and Christy, my birth mother, and of course all the people who donated to me and my family. This was all of our stuff for this year's packing party. I don't know if I had mentioned that. So what you saw in the packing party, 85-90% of it was from her and I. And so, that's why this year we felt like, okay, well, we're going to go through those boxes and check. Like I said, typically, especially at the processing center, or if you're working at a drop-off location, you're not going to go through the box and change it completely or do any of that. And we never changed anything completely. But we just made sure we added in there what was needed for our packing party. Because, like I said, things got out of hand. It was great. People were very eager. It got to the point where people just really wanted to pack them. We ended up packing 317 boxes. which is way more than what we intended. Now we do, and I'm going to share this with you guys because I can't wait to show you. I'm going to give you a little tour. We just got a closet at the building, at the youth building, which is the one that we use for the packing party. That closet, we have cleaned, new paint, and my husband and father-in-law built shelves for us. And it's been incredible. So we were able to run into the closet and pull out things that maybe we had extra of. You know, we had extra toothbrushes and scissors, you know, but, you know, we didn't have any extra glue sticks. So we made sure that we pulled out anything that we had that we were going to sort of save for next year as a stockpile. And we just used that. We had everybody just helping us pull everything out because people were just going, that we put things on the tables. So my point of all this is I would make sure that we have a stopping point. When that stopping point is hit, we're done. Because, you know, yeah, we sent 117 boxes, which is incredible. But I just think financially, you know, it would have been easier on us if we had just stopped where we knew that that was what we could afford this year. Instead of having to go back and go buy, you know, mind you, we found good deals, but go back and buy, you know, more to fill those 107 boxes extra that we had. Thankfully, most of them were pretty good. I mean, they might have just been missing pencils or scissors or something. You know, and we still have people who were donating things, which was a help. So I don't want it to sound like it was this huge, crazy financial burden. It wasn't. It just made that week a little bit crazier. We were up there having to go through all the boxes just to double check to make sure which ones did and didn't, because they did get sort of mixed up, unfortunately, on the wall that we started on. We started putting the boxes on. People were putting the half-finished boxes up there too, so we sort of had to go through some of that, well, all of it, to make sure. But yes, so I just think we would have a stopping point. Like I said, that may not apply to you. This particular point may not apply to you, but it's just an idea, you know, if you have, you know, just to have a place where, like I said, people get so eager, and it was so fun, and every bit of it was fun. It just would have been a little easier if we had a stopping point. Like I said, next year we won't have the boxes out to take, you know, with us later. We'll hide those. You know, it was an easy fix, but it's just something that, you know, what if accidentally happens to one of you guys if you're doing a packing party? So that's sort of like a point that I said doesn't really match for everybody, but maybe just something, if your circumstances line up like ours did, to watch out for, because yes, we weren't really prepared for that. So right now, that's my sort of takeaway from our packing party, our first packing party at the church. Like I said, I've done one before here at my house, but you know, it's a whole new ballpark when you get that many people. Like I only had about 10 at my packing party, and that was like 50 people. Totally different experience. But it was really wonderful, and I'm so excited about next year. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I think, like I said, for us, we're very blessed at our church. Our church has a school attached to it, so we're thinking maybe next year we can use the gym. I think that will help us as we're growing. I'm really hoping and praying that the ministry reaches more people get interested. And what I'm going to start doing on this channel in general is I'm still going to do unboxing videos. I'm going to still, you know, do shopping hauls because I'm going to be shopping a lot. I already started this year for next year. I got some really great stuff. But I'm also going to go over what we're doing at my church specifically, giving information for other people. I have a lot of people who reach out and ask me about how do we finance things? How do we do this? How do we do that? Well, I'm going to try to answer a lot of those questions in general in videos. I'm going to show you our workshops that we do monthly and explain what we're doing, show you ideas of what we're doing, and maybe, you know, ways that we're making it happen, but also things that we're learning that are working better throughout the year. So you guys are sort of going to go on a journey with me on how to create a ministry at your church or in a, you know, at your house with your friends and family, a year-round thing that we do once a month. This is what we are able to do. It's a once-a-month workshop at our church. So I'm going to start sharing a lot of that on this channel because it's just growing. And I remember really searching, and I might have said this before because I can't remember what all I said in the beginning of the video because it's been days, but I was searching on YouTube and different places to find ideas just to get started. And I found some really awesome videos here and there on how people were doing things that really helped me sort of launch, what I was trying to get done. But, I just want to give sort of some more information because I still wish, especially when it comes to like putting together a packing party at the church or the workshop that we're doing at the church, just more information. Like, I just felt stumped, like how to begin. So now we're figuring it out, but I'm going to share that with you. So I'm going to also be sharing a lot of that on this channel, and I'm really excited about all of it. So we start our workshops back up in February. January, we're taking off just to sort of have a big team meeting, get everything prepared for the year. And I will, like I said, explain all that we're figuring out with you guys so that hopefully if you guys want to start doing something like this, doesn't matter if it's on, a smaller scale, a bigger scale, maybe this information will help at least maybe somebody out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for being a part of, OCC and for watching me. Like, I never thought, a year or so ago when I started doing this, that people would be this interested. And, I know that there's other YouTubers who have way more, people following them. And I love watching all their videos. But it's just such a great community. And it's so fun that I get to be a part of it and share the passion that I have for this amazing ministry with you guys. And I hope I can give you guys more information. So I hope you guys all have a great week and are very blessed. And I will see you soon. Bye.